We're live. We're live. We're live.
Yes, we are. We're live. We're happy that you're live too with us.
Thank you for joining us. Thank you for joining us today.
Today's topic I'm excited about. I can't wait to hear what you got to say about it as well.
Interesting topic, yeah.
But
and interesting for a Shout It Out Friday.
It's still Shout It Out Friday. Shout It Friday is the day we set aside for you to shout out your business, your cause, your book, or someone else. Shout it out.
Shout it out.
But our topic is the value of fighting and arguing. Or you can rephrase it, the value of arguing and fighting. Is there value in that? We're going to talk about that.
Is there value in it? I think that's a good question. Is there value in it? We're going to talk about it right back in a moment.
Good morning. My name is Brian McNeill.
And I am Lisa Santiago McNeill.
And thank you for joining us on our show, Let's Talk About It. We come to each Monday through Friday right here on the SIBN network, on iHeartRadio, YouTube, TuneIn, as well as Facebook Live. Good morning.
Good morning. Good morning. Like. Good morning, and happy Friday to you.
What's up with our angle? My chair might be high.
Maybe. But today is Friday, and we have an interesting topic for a Friday.
Good morning, Sister Barbara.
Hey,
Mosley.
Sister Barbara. It's the value of fighting.
Or arguing.
Or is there any value in it? Is there any good in it? Good morning, Katora. Thank you for joining us this morning. Shout it out. Today is a day to definitely shout out anything that's going on. Anything that's going on in your life that you want to share. A good movie you saw, a good business you supported, your own business, how we can support you, your book, and everything.
Sister Katura, do you believe there's value in arguing and fighting? Sister Barbara Mosley, do you believe that there is value in arguing and fighting?
Now, do you consider debate arguing and fighting?
That's just something I thought about too, because a debate is really, textbook definition, arguing.
Okay.
We celebrate and we think highly of great debaters.
Yeah.
Okay, we do. I remember seeing the movie The Great Debaters with Denzel Washington in it.
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't see it when it came out immediately. But when I finally did see it, I was thinking, wow, this movie was way better than I thought it was going to be.
Because of the debate.
Yes. I thought it was going to be dry. I didn't think it was going to be fun to watch.
And you enjoy debating also.
I do. I was in a debate team in high school and college. And
good morning, Shirley. She says, good morning, family. It's
Shout It Out Friday. Yes, it is.
Yes, it is.
So I do want you guys' thoughts on this, too. Do you believe there's value? And let me tell you how I came to this. Lisa has got me hooked, and I'm all the way hooked on this show that ran in the late 90s to early 2000s called The Practice.
Mm-hmm.
It's a story about a criminal defense law firm.
And they're fighting up against the DA.
The DA.
Mm-hmm.
The criminal defense attorneys versus the district attorneys, the prosecution versus the defendants.
Mm-hmm.
And it showed their lives as well. It's very well written, very well done. And but it's adversarial in nature all the time.
All the time.
Yes. But even when they don't want to argue, the judge will force them to argue because everyone's entitled to a vigorous defense.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone's entitled to competent defense.
Mm-hmm.
Entitled to in our laws of our country.
And I often think about that. If there's no reason to defend them, how can you defend them?
Right, which is a rub a lot of times too. It comes up. If you know they're guilty, which is why a lot of times
they don't ask.
They don't ask because they don't want to know. They got to defend them anyway. Okay?
Yeah.
So, but I think there's value in arguing and fighting. And before I delve into why I believe so, I want to just give some more examples if I can. There's a great book called How to Argue and Win Every Time by Jerry Spence.
Yes, I've read that book.
Yes, you read it?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, me too. Actually, I read it on tape. That's how old school I am. I read the book on tape as I was in the car going back and forth on my sales calls. I listened to the book How to Argue and Win Every Time by Jerry Spence. And Jerry Spence at the time was probably the top attorney in our country. He defended trees. He defended companies. He defended little guys all the time and won. He was brilliant. His wife was also a brilliant lawyer as well. And one of the things he thought about, the way he looked at arguing was kind of like a love language. And he was like, argue with me.
Well, the basis of arguing is communication.
Okay.
And it's effective communication. And that is a strong love language.
He felt it was. He felt like if you were willing to argue with me, you valued me. Isn't that crazy? Or is it crazy?
I don't think that's crazy. I think that's one of the most effective traits of even our politicians. Even in our politicians is being willing to argue a point to the point, to defend a point.
Right. Because if you don't value that person or their point, you don't even bother arguing with them. If you don't think of them as important at all, you don't even bother. You know, lions don't argue with mice. You know, they don't do that. Okay.
Sister Barb said, if you're yelling while arguing, you don't listen. Therefore, nothing is being heard. Just talk about the situation.
Amen.
There is a tone to arguing.
And I think yelling crosses the line, I believe. Okay. Because if you're yelling it, you're not listening, like Sister Barbara says. And I even saw a quote of all people, Mike Tyson. He says, never argue with anybody that's determined to not agree with anything you say.
Yeah.
Don't even bother. If you can see they're determined no matter what you say, don't argue with them.
They're not even listening. You're wasting your breath.
You're wasting your breath.
wasting your breath. You are absolutely wasting your breath.
My father, he's gone since 95. He's been gone a long time. But one of the bits of advice he did give me was, if it's one-on-one, you can argue with a woman. If one of her girlfriends is around, that means it's two women against one, don't bother arguing. That's some advice I got from my dad. Because you can't win two women against one man. You can't win that.
Good morning, Sister Vanessa. Thank you for joining us this morning.
Good morning. Good morning.
The value of fighting. And don't forget, it's Shout It Out Friday. And don't forget, we want to hear about you, your business, what you got going on, maybe your weekend plans. This is like the last month of the summer. Officially, you got to have some summer plans, some vacation plans.
Boy, that cropped up on me the end of the summer. I didn't even realize it, but it is definitely the end of summer. Football season started last night, technically. Preseason started last night, technically. And kids are getting ready for back to school. We're going to support a back to school event in a couple of weeks, actually.
That's right, Barbara said. No, don't do it, Brian. Don't argue with a woman in front of, don't argue with your wife in front of a woman. We actually we don't typically argue. We have disagreed, but we disagree privately if necessary.
Oh yeah.
If necessary, it's private. Couture says, well, that depends, Brian. It depends on you if you're right or wrong. You know what? In some cases, it don't matter.
Well, here's an assumption that's I learned in my research over time is if there's an argument, the winning argument is, I think it came from Stephen Covey's book. If you're disagreeing with someone, you have to assume that both sides are at least partially right. Yeah, at least a little bit. Because why is she arguing with you if she don't believe she's right at least in some part? It could be a small part or a big part. But so if there's an argument, that you have to assume it's healthier to assume that both parties are at least partially right, which is why it makes sense to seek to understand before being understood. One of the things I learned today, I hope that made sense what I just said. Did it come out right?
It makes sense to me.
Okay, good. One of the things also I learned was in my research of the topic today was when you arguing and maintaining mutual respect for each other, the communication between each other becomes greater. It benefits. It could benefit a couple if they argue and maintain mutual respect. Now, Lisa and I gotta tell you, rarely argue. And when we do argue, it's brief typically.
And usually we realize once we finish dissecting the argument, because we do because for the simple fact that we know that the argument was a point of contention. So just ignoring it is not going to resolve the issue.
Exactly.
So when you get to the point where you've got to at least dissect it, meaning that we're not going to agree, but let's figure out why we're not agreeing.
Yeah, that's healthier.
It's much more
healthier because and very often it could be a misunderstanding.
More often than not, or it can be an unnecessary understanding. We had a fight early in our relationship about Antonobi, about cabinet doors.
We did
early, and you obviously it probably didn't mean anything to you.
Okay.
But if William Brown was on here, he might even remember because I had dug my feet in.
Okay.
I had dug my heels in about these cabinet doors.
What about?
You wanted them closed.
Yeah.
And I didn't want you telling me what to do with the cabinet doors.
I didn't see it that way.
Exactly. So it had nothing to do with the cabinet doors.
I remember now. You didn't want me telling you what to do.
No.
But I wanted the doors closed.
You wanted the doors closed.
It just didn't
close them.
It didn't make sense to me to have some doors open and some doors closed.
Close them then. Because I wasn't going to close them.
That's ridiculous. I never knew that's what the argument was about until just this moment. I didn't know. He ain't gonna tell me. I didn't know that was your thought. I was like, "What's the big deal?"
It was actually more than that, but that was the base. That was actually what the issue was, and it really was a big issue. He was early on in our marriage. Brian had he was very dogmatic about his rules.
Yeah, but I moved in with Lisa, though, so she had a house established before I got there.
I want the cabinet, whatever it is.
Okay.
And if you want it closed, close it. And so I didn't have any reason to keep these cabinets open, but he was getting on my nerves, reminding me to close these cabinets. And it was triggering me.
Oh, wow.
It was triggering me to have the independent thought of open or close. And we had to have, well, obviously we didn't have enough of those conversations because he's just realizing it. But
I didn't realize it was that serious.
It was that serious.
Oh, wow.
You could have the cabinet any way you wanted it as long as you did it yourself. I just wasn't going to do it.
Oh, wow. Good morning, Sister Antonobi. She says, y'all don't forget to connect to my business page.
My new business page.
And she did post her link to
it.
Thank
right.
you.
Click on it.
That's what Shout Out Friday is for. Mm-hmm. Please go ahead and tell what your business page is about, too, Sister Antonobi.
Absolutely.
My business page is about, or my business is.
That's right, Shirley. Come on, Shirley
has got a game right. She says, forever. Have new notebooks and planners. Have your favorite photos on your notebook or planner. Introduction, description, and she even posts a link for it. You're going to be buying planners anyway.
Absolutely.
You're going to be buying calendars anyway. Why not have your picture or your favorite picture on your calendar or your notebook?
Absolutely. Katura says, Brian!
What?
Charnez leaves cabinets open.
I don't leave cabinets open. I don't leave cabinets open. I changed the roll in the toilet tissue. Ugh.
He wants to argue about that too.
I don't want to argue about it.
Well,
I just want you to do it.
Yeah. Well.
Oh, that's crazy.
Good morning, Dr. Deborah.
Good morning, Dr. Deborah. How you doing? What do you mean? What do you mean? Torrance leaves cabinets open? That can't be true.
Why can't it be true?
Today's show topic.
It's not that serious.
Is the value of arguing and fighting. There was a Netflix series called Fighting in the World or Fighting Around the World or something like that. And like 8 episodes or something. And I've watched it 3 times and I'll probably watch it again because it's fascinating to me about how different cultures fight. Now they're talking about physical fighting, how they fight in Taiwan versus how they fight in Mexico versus how they fight in Israel versus how they fight in Africa versus how they fight in different parts of the world. It's just fascinating to me, interesting to me. And the way they think about fighting is different. Lisa, Dr. Deborah, both of you guys are the right height. Okay, let's put it that way. Okay, neither one of you guys will be considered tall. and neither one of you guys grew up being very big. So being small people, I mean, in height and probably stature. I've heard Dr. Deborah give this testimony until she started to gain weight. Okay. But there are some times where in the schoolyard, you might have been bullied or picked on because they were considered weaker or smaller, and you had to fight for your position. I don't think that's too much of a guess.
It is a guess because they used to call me Lisa Powerhouse because my name, my maiden name is Powell, Lisa Powell, and they used to call me Lisa Powerhouse.
Why would they do that?
Because I used to beat everybody up.
What? You used to do what?
I used to beat everybody up.
And why did you do that?
Because they would pick on my sister, they would pick on my brother, and I was the oldest, and I was not going to stand
Okay,
for it.
so because they were picking on your brother and you're picking on your sister, you decided to fight, and they so much so they called you Lisa Powerhouse.
Yeah,
this is what I'm talking about. Good morning, Sister Stephanie.
She says, "Good morning.
It's
fabulous
Friday.
That's right. That's Holy Spirit Elementary in the Aqueduct. I used to beat they behinds. I used to beat them. And Patrick, who is my foster brother, he's technically older than me by 40 days, but I would beat them up for him too." That's right. Dr. Deborah says I was the one that beat up the bully. I think that might be a characteristic
of little people, short people. You have to fight because you can't afford to not fight.
No.
Okay, you'll be chased every day because you're smaller than everybody naturally.
Absolutely.
Is this the great Kimberly Rouse Eccles visiting us again? Good morning, Sister Eccles. How you doing?
That was actually a statement that I would make when things got contentious with someone that I cared about.
Okay.
If someone that I care about is being contentious and they're taller than me, don't do it. Don't come in my space and you're bigger than me with the contentious energy.
Because you can't afford to let them hit first.
I can't afford it. I can't afford it. So if you don't mean to get physical, if you don't mean to take it to the next level, keep your distance. Keep my space.
Yes.
Respect my space.
Good morning, Dr. Beverly, as well. Good morning to you.
Good morning. Antonobi says, my business is a distributor company for surgical medical supplies and just added to my collection eye supplies for the office coming in November.
Well, good.
Go to AVE Surge.
It's there.
Yeah, go to the link in the comments.
Surge Instrument Support is what I'm thinking the abbreviation is.
Yeah, but it's not like a easy to say word.
But I know there's tremendous value in the products that Sister Antonobi offers. We use medical devices in our homes a lot of times unwittingly. I was thinking just the other day of how we use the smart speaker all the time, how we use Chat GPT a lot, how we use all these things, how we I use our cell phone for everything. I'm learning even more and more. I can do more and more of my business from my cell phone. Okay. I mean, invoice sending and responding to and looking up. Ooh, excuse me.
You picking up?
Yeah.
Barbara says personal space is one of the things I'm teaching girls. Amen. Teaching the girls. It is an important thing, particular as ladies, to maintain your personal space. But I wasn't maintaining my personal space as a lady. I was maintaining my personal space because you ain't want to catch these hands.
You ain't want to catch these hands. Today's still Shout It Out Friday. We want you to shout out your stuff and your cars and all that. But it's also the topic is the value of arguing
and fighting.
Dr. Beverly says,
good morning, my beautiful family. The value of fighting. For me, I seem to always fight in silence.
Okay.
I was taught how to maneuver in the dark.
Yeah.
Because though I walk through the though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I fear no evil. My fingers have been taught to war and my heart has learned to walk away. Amen.
Yeah. Some people were good at, when I was a kid, it was called ranking on somebody. Now they call it roasting somebody, and they call it different things throughout my life.
Okay.
But when you're arguing, insulting someone, or even call it cuss them out. okay, or telling somebody off. The people that were really, really good at ranking, I mean, they were really, really good at it. They were more dangerous than people that could just beat you up. Because the people that were good at ranking on you or talking junk about you, they cause other people to laugh at you. They can make everybody laugh at you. So if you step into them, you got to have your stuff ready. You got to be ready to go because they were good at ranking on you. That's another sign, another way of arguing. We develop that skill there to be able to fend them off.
Absolutely. That was something else that I had to learn.
Verbally fend them off.
Yeah, I had to learn that when I stopped physically fighting, I would be very articulate in my fight. So I could cut you down, never use a curse word.
Yeah.
And then I realized
slice them with your words.
That was even worse. That was more disrespectful to my walk with God, if you will, because I was being towing the line. Like I don't have
between mean and not mean. Is that
no between righteous and not righteous? So I didn't cuss. I didn't say anything. I didn't say any of the quote unquote words that you weren't allowed to say, but I could still decrease you in stature, and I don't think that was right.
Yeah, probably not.
No, it wasn't.
The more I talk about it, the more I find that it's necessary because all of nature fights. All of nature, all the animals fight. They fight for mating rights. They fight for territories. Mm-hmm. They fight to defend themselves. They have to do that. And it's a way of keeping them strong. Do you know that and alligators and hippos and elephants and bears, and other animals, lions as well, only the strong, and now deer and antelope, only the strongest buck gets to mate. The one that can win the fight. They have to fight for the right to maintain a harem. Okay, they have to fight for that right. And when you win, and it makes sense to them because the winner of the fight is going to have the strongest genes. Okay, that's what the theory seems to be.
Survival of the fittest.
Survival of the fittest. So you can't have the losers and the weak guys procreating. You only can have the strong, fit, smart, whatever.
There seems to be a new change going on in the world.
Yeah, it seems to be a new change. Shouts out to Ardretta Hall. I hope I didn't offend her today, but there was a post I saw this morning, and this lady and Ardretta commented on it. She says, "What's wrong with that?" This lady says, "All I want is an honest, thugged out, church-going gangster." What's so hard about that? Okay.
What's so hard about that?
She wants an honest, thugged out, church-going gangster. Mm-hmm. And I commented, I said, because that doesn't exist. I says, honest and thugged out don't go together, and gangsters don't go to church. That's what I said. And then she responded back, I was just going along with the joke, Brian. And I was like, look, I was trying to be funny. I didn't mean to offend. Sorry. Okay.
Brother Mark says,
there is value in fighting for things of purpose. For example, fighting for your families, civil rights, justice. Arguing, in my opinion, is a waste of time. Debating, however, is something different. I'll debate someone with intelligence. I will not argue with a fool. That may sound a little bit harsh, but it's what I flow with. Amen.
All right.
I love how you put that and defending his position.
Yeah, I understand that, but maybe I don't. So I want you to elaborate on the difference between debating and arguing.
Well, he said, I was thinking the same thing as I read it aloud, baby. He goes,
debate someone with intelligence and not argue with a fool.
Yeah, but go back up a little bit higher. You can see some more. He says, for example, fighting for your family, civil rights, and arguing, in my opinion, is a waste of time. Now, I don't think arguing in a sense is a waste of time, but he does. But his defense of it was debating, however, is something different. He sees him something different. I'll debate someone with intelligence. I will not argue with a fool. Okay. I think that was his defense of his point.
Sister Barbara says, I have an MS Zoom support meeting on the 2nd and 4th Tuesdays at 7 p.m. Central Standard Time. Zoom information. The phone number is right there, or the Zoom Zoom, the Zoom contact information is in the chat.
Okay, yes. Now, MS, I don't want to assume, but I think you're meaning multiple sclerosis.
Mm-hmm.
It's multiple sclerosis Zoom support, because there's so many acronyms. There's so many acronyms that are shared. Okay, MS is going to be Mississippi. Okay, support the people that live there still.
Antonobi says, I have learned to step back in battle and let God be before the battle.
Okay.
I learned that this fight is already won and it is not my battle. With that, wisdom came either in silent, walk away, breathe out slowly, or go away.
Now, I mentioned the schoolyard where you learn how to deal with the bully, by learning to fight the bully or be bullied for the whole school year. Mm-hmm. Okay, either fight them or be bullied. In corporate America, that goes on too, because like in a meeting, for example, and some woman says something slick about you and your work performance in front of everybody, and you decide not to check her. Okay, yeah, Lisa's always messing that up or something like that. Well, that's why Lisa's that way. She says something slick in public, and let's say, for example, Lisa decides not to check her. She looks at that and goes, okay, I got away with that. Let me try it again some other time. And then, oh, Lisa, you can't do this or you that or you're this or you're slow or whatever. That's 2 times she done said something slick. Now, if Lisa never decides to step to her, say, look, don't talk about me like that. If she never steps to her and checks her on that, what'll happen? Is it going to stop on its own? Is it going to continue? Is it going to get better? Is it going to get worse? I submitted to just keep going and probably elevate. So there is value in stepping to that person and letting them know in no uncertain terms that ain't cool. And an argument could ensue from that. Well, but to me, that's you fighting for yourself.
I don't typically respond that way. I typically don't even notice when someone is stepping to me that way, but I am a lot more attentive and responsive when someone is saying or doing something to someone that I love or to someone that is in defense, not able to defend themselves.
There's an expression, and when I say this expression, you're all going to know what it means. Okay. Sometimes you just got to act black. Okay. What does that mean, Lisa? Why'd you hang your head and shake?
Go ahead.
What does that mean?
Go ahead.
Sometimes you got to act black. Sometimes in a customer service situation or rental car situation or hotel situation, sometimes you just have to like, look, Kia. I'm not playing with y'all no more. I had this daggone reservation. Find me a daggone room. And sometimes that move right there miraculously produces a room for you. You know what? We do have a room. Because they don't get paid enough to deal with my ire. Okay. Or the pressure I can put on them.
Vanessa said, in my marriage, we agreed to disagree when it appeared that agreement was impossible at that moment.
Amen.
And Sister Barbara says, so true, Brian.
Sometimes you gotta do it. And you gotta have that in your arsenal, that willingness to fight for your position, to fight for what you believe is the right way to go, or fight not to be treated that way. You're not gonna treat me like that. No. How come you didn't ask for their ID? There were 3 white people before me didn't ask for their ID. You asking me for mine? Why? Okay. You have to fight for your position.
Absolutely. Sister Vanessa, just going back to her point, she said sometimes we agree to disagree when it appeared the agreement was impossible.
At that moment.
Absolutely.
See, that's a strategy that her and her husband have adopted for their household. Mm-hmm. Yep. Lisa and our strategy is typically seek to understand before being understood. And that mutual respect, that me knowing that she's going to try that. And I believe her knowing that I'm going to try to understand that, I think that elevates the mutual respect for each other, but also communication is better.
Absolutely. Now, there are times when tensions are high and it may require great self-control to be able to do that on both sides. Because sometimes you'll find that the tension is really, really high on one side because either they felt slighted or whatever the case is, insulted, slighted. And if you know that was not your intention, then sometimes you got to eat that. And you got to eat it and allow it to diffuse before you can patiently interject that there was a misunderstanding there, as opposed to just dismissively interject,
which is not showing respect.
No, dismissively, you don't even understand. That's not going to get any resolution.
Good morning, Princess Gigi. How you doing?
Hi,
Princess Gigi King, y'all. Get that right.
Hello, beautiful. How are you?
Shout it out Friday. And the value
of fighting or arguing.
Yes, the value of it. Sister Vanessa says, that's true, Lisa. Amen. Amen. I think there's value in it. Okay. I think there's value in it. Watching these shows like The Practice, and I've never seen it, but I assume Law and Order and all these shows, you see.
Law and Order is very different from The Practice.
Well, I've never seen Law and Order, and I don't want to watch it.
Yeah, it's very different. Well,
isn't it a lawyer show?
No, not really.
Okay.
It's more criminal show than it is lawyer show.
Yeah, definitely not gonna watch it now. It's more of a criminal show. I like the lawyer shows where they have to defend the position
of the criminals.
Yeah, or either position. I would just like to see the banter and the amazing amount of research that they have to do.
I enjoy the defense attorneys. That's what you don't get a lot of on Law and Order. The defense, they talk more on the district attorney side.
Okay. But all the research and the case studies they have to look for, and the interviewing of potential witnesses or not, and the reviewing of potential jurors or not. It's just a lot of work involved.
There's
layers of their work involved to be a criminal defense attorney, which is probably another reason why it pays so highly.
And it is a benefit to know how to argue in those cases, because there's different styles for arguing.
And there's different styles
that will benefit different situations.
Can you imagine me as a lawyer?
Yes.
You can. Mm-hmm. And do you think I'd be effective in a courtroom?
I think that you could be, but the challenge is you often use one style.
Could be my style.
Right, exactly.
Yeah. Oh, here Mark brought his explanation. Mark Greer submits debates are about expressing a point of view from an intellectual standpoint. Debating also involves intelligently listening to a different point of view so understanding can be derived, and on intelligent responses can be expressed. Arguing, again, in my opinion, are often about reaction. Many who argue aren't listening to absorb what the other person is expressing. More often than not, it is about waiting for an opportunity to continue arguing without trying to understand the viewpoint from...
Here it is, over here. I will get it.
The viewpoint from the other person. Again, that's how I roll in Mark's world. It works for me. At the end of the day, there it is. I read that in the stylings of Mr. Mark Greer.
Absolutely. Good morning again, Kimberly. She says, good morning, family, and good to see you guys.
Good to see you as well.
Good to see you too.
Why is it so hot in this room?
It's not. It's me.
That's what it is. Yeah.
Sister Barbara says, I think you would be a good lawyer, Brian.
I would. And Lisa just said she thinks I would argue only in one style. Now, my style of arguing, I think my style is, she might have a difference of opinion, is I want to hear what you got to say. I want to hear it all the way. And I'm going to make sense of my argument. And much as I can, I'm going to use what they said in my argument.
Absolutely.
I think I would crush it. But you know why I never went into law? And this is confession. I think I got in trouble when I was 16 for something. I got to go to court. And then in my 20s, a speeding ticket here, or this or that there. And going into a courtroom in my adult life has never been a good thing for me. And I remember sitting in one, I drove through some dink little town, and they had a courthouse there, and I had to go back and appear. And I was sitting in there waiting for me to be called in this dirty, dusty little courtroom. I was like, would I want to work in a place like this daily? Would I want to be in a courtroom daily or an office like that daily? No, it's not for me.
Mm-hmm.
That's what deterred me myself.
Barbara says, hot cash, Brian, LOL. I love it. I love it. I love it.
Yes.
I think there is a value of debating and a value of arguing, a value of fighting versus arguing, because I do believe, and honestly, I think that is if you're going into it, not to just support your side, but to find out the truth. Mm-hmm. And that's a challenge that I have with being a lawyer.
Listen to what she said, not just to support your own side, but to find out the truth.
Right.
Okay. Now, in a court situation, you can't do that, I don't believe.
You can't.
You have to defend your side.
Right.
And let someone else decide what the truth is.
What the truth is, absolutely.
And in your household, you don't often have a jury there. So you have to do it yourself.
So, but I still think that it's important, especially in a household, that the goal for these conversations or arguments or debates is to find the best solution versus my way or your way.
Yeah. The purpose should be to find the best versus just trying to be right.
Mm-hmm. That's why I left the cabinets open.
Okay, fine. Cabinets open. I could have just kept closing them.
Yeah.
But I wanted to train you.
That's why they were going to stay open.
Close the cabinets behind yourself.
That's why they were going to stay open.
You open the cabinets to get what you want to get out of the cabinet, and then you should close it back.
Mm-hmm. Did you see the word that you used in there?
What?
The train word.
I just said that to tickle you now.
No, that was the way that it felt to me.
Oh, wow.
That was the way. That was why you could keep every cabinet open.
I don't want to keep the cabinet open.
I know. That was why I was like, the cows will come home before I close the cabinet.
Oh, wow.
Because he
ain't going to tell me what to do. Wow.
I open the cabinet I don't even want open.
Wow.
Good morning.
And then I'll be incredulous.
Exactly.
Didn't we just talk about this? Why are these cabinets open? You're not in that cabinet right now. It doesn't even look good.
Nope.
Just close it. Princess Gigi says,
I was almost a lawyer. My dean and teachers told me to apply. I didn't want to go to law school.
I did want to go to law school, but Malik needed me. Who is Malik? Is that your baby? Or a man or a husband? Okay. Shirley Jeanette laughed at something. And yes, good Arizona morning to you, Sister Jacqueline Rosier. What's up?
That's right, Barbara. Tell them train is a bad word to wives, Brian.
Yes. I could think of some other ways I train that too. See, in the beginning, and don't act like wives don't train their husbands.
We do.
We have a
But it's not a bad word for wives to train their husband.
Oh, it's only okay. It's not bad for wives to train their husband, but it is bad for husbands to train their wives. That's not right.
Malik is ADHD autistic, and the dean told me law school is going to take up a lot of time and leave no room for being a mom.
Well, that's not true.
It's best not to apply, and that's why I became a business owner.
Well, it is difficult to get through law school. We got several friends that have done it. It does take up a lot of time, but you can still be a mother too. Yes, you could.
Yeah, but there are a lot of challenges with dealing with a child who is diagnosed with ADHD and on the autism
Let's
spectrum.
go to this train thing again. We have some friends that we were at their home one time, and they've been married 20 years, 20 plus years. And she said,
Love you, Vanessa. Have a simply marvelous day headed to the next appointment.
Good morning and have a great day, Sister Vanessa. She said right in front of him, he just stood there like it was no problem. Yeah, it's taken me 24 years to train him to get him to this point. Mm-hmm. She said she took 24 years to train her husband, even gestured her hands like this, to train her husband to get him like this. And he was cool with it. Now, if he had said, it took me 24 years to train her to get her like this, you're already shaking your head. That's not fair.
It doesn't have to be fair. It's just true. Happy wife, happy life.
So she can train him, but he can't train her.
Absolutely.
That's not right.
Okay.
Do y'all believe this?
But he's happy.
He's happy, I guess.
Absolutely, absolutely.
You know, I thought about something today that I posted a picture. Lisa and I have taken a couple of boat trips in the past week, maybe.
Mm-hmm.
A friend of ours had rented boats, and they invited us, and we was out there on the boat with them. And we had a good time both times. And I posted pictures of it. And I noticed that posting pictures of us on a boat, I got a lot more response than posting something positive or helpful. And I was like wondering, why is that? Because, and this is what I came up with, Facebook likes your highlight reel. They want to see your highlight reel. We're not on a boat all the time. We're not balling like that, okay? But we just happen to have done it this time. But that doesn't mean that's the way it is all the time.
Yeah.
Okay.
Absolutely. But that is true. That the world, that's what's happening with the influencers of today.
They just show you their highlight reel.
They're renting a life.
Renting a life. Key and Peele, the philosophers of the 2020s, they did this skit from this group called LMFAO. They had a song called Party All the Time. Okay. And they did a skit. What if you were doomed to have to party all the time and you couldn't stop partying even if you wanted to stop partying? So you're partying in a club and you try to leave the club, and then you leave the club, walk right into another club. And it was like they was trying to stop partying. They had been party, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, party, all that stuff. And they became like their personal hell. And then they decided to kill themselves so they could stop partying. So they shoot themselves in the head, and then they die, and they're partying again. They couldn't get out of it. How crazy is that to only party all the time?
Welcome back, Dr. Beverly. She said, I'm back. This phone be tripping. We're going to be back.
This phone be
tripping
hard.
We're going to debut my commercial for you. We are back in a moment. We hope to see you there on the other side. I am Lisa Santiago McNeill, and I am inviting you to join Sisters Inspire Sisters to Advance Retreat 2023, because sisters know what it means to get to. Sisters are willing to share with sisters so that together we can accomplish everything that we are intended to do. Join us. Go to barbarahsmith.com and we'll see you there. Bring your power.
Lisa's going to be in Maryland.
I hope you're going to join us.
Lisa was actually interviewed by Barbara H. Smith and Sister Shawnee Smith yesterday on their podcast.
Mm-hmm.
And it was really good. I had it on, and I found myself listening more than I thought I was going to listen. I just thought I was going to put it on like another device and click on here and there. But it got to be interesting to me, so I found myself paying attention.
It is interesting.
It did get to be interesting.
I am appreciative of it. Go to Empowerment Duo. Go to theempowermentduo.com, and you can make sure to register and join us in Ocean City, Maryland, October 13th, 14th, and 15th. I promise you, it will be a life-changing.
October 13th, 14th, and 15th. 3 days. Yes. Sister Shirley loves it. And Sister Jacqueline says,
Shout out. My first
my first
color workshop last night after 25 years.
What?
It was amazing. Dr. Deborah and Brittany attended. I have been asked to do 3 more by those who attended. I am slowly getting back to doing some wonderful things.
Well, you're already doing wonderful things, and I'm excited about your color workshop.
Princess Gigi said, I feel I would have been an awesome defense attorney. No, I don't like to argue, but I like the style which
would have been an attorney. I could be a ferocious attack dog,
but I look like a cute poodle.
Those people are really effective on these shows. They look unassuming, or their style is more muted and more calm, and then they slice and dice viciously.
Sister Kimberly says, what a great location it is. Ocean City, Maryland is beautiful, and every suite. First of all, the retreat is suites, and every room is a suite. Yep. Mm-hmm. Every room is a suite, and every suite is on the water.
Princess Gigi said, I love that commercial for Barbara H. Smith's event. Amazing event. Beautiful, Lisa. You are so beautiful. She is beautiful, and she is beautiful. And last year we attended that same event, and it was a beautiful event as well. Barbara H. Smith knows how to put on a good event for women.
Absolutely.
So I'm looking forward to that as well. I'm going to be there as the driver. They've already told me I cannot participate this year, although last year I did speak at this event, and I did rock. Okay, now I'm going to tell you, I did bring it, but they liked it, but no men at all. So there'll be men there, but the men will be there just to get their women there, and then we'll have to be forced to chill out at the beach or have a cigar while they're doing their stuff. Oh. And this is 9:44 on a Friday. We got to get to the greeting songs and the greeting logos. Princess Gigi says, Lisa is so professional.
Thank you.
Yes, she is. Yes, she is. And she's my beauty and my professional woman, and I'm blessed to have her. So we're about to do.
You're always trying to get some.
Yeah, I said that just so I could get some. Yes, that's exactly what happened. So we're gonna do what we do here. But this show has been going on for 7 years now, and some of you guys have been rocking with us for a long time. Her name is Lisa Santiago McNeill. I'm Brian K. McNeill. I'm going fast because it's already 9:44. We're running a couple of minutes late. So what we do is
I don't know if I can hear that fast.
Yes, you can.
We're going to start out with Barbara Mosley.
We're going to thank our people the way we thank our people with greeting songs and with greeting logos. Just in case there's one person, this is your first time here, bear with us. Sister Barbara Mosley, she has a logo. It goes like this. Barbara Mosley, she cooks here. She cooks there. Barbara Mosley, she cooks everywhere. That's our girl, Barbara Mosley.
Absolutely. Katura
Green has a greeting song, and it goes like this. Back to life. Back to Katura Green.
However do you want it?
However do you need it?
Do you need it?
Sister Shirley DeJohnette Wyatt has a song, too, and it goes like this. Shirley DeJohnette Wyatt will rock you, rock you. Shirley DeJohnette Wyatt will rock you, rock you. That's right. Vanessa Moore, I know you're gone already, but you can get you a jam too. Thank you, Antonobe. That's what I'm going with right now. Until I find something better.
Dr. Deborah, healing trauma and manifestation coach.
Mm-hmm. Good morning, Dr. Deborah Dunson. Stephanie Morris has a song too.
Stephanie, life has new meaning to me.
There is beauty up above and things we never take notice of. You wake up and Stephanie, you're in love. Ooh. That's our girl, Stephanie Morris.
Absolutely.
Dr. Beverly has a logo too. Dr. Beverly's logo was like this. Dr. Beverly is on the show. Good morning, Dr. Beverly. And Mark Greer has this jam as well. Mark Greer jam goes like this. So wide you can't get around it.
So low you can't get under it.
So high you can't get over it. Mark Greer is under a groove. He's getting down just for the funk of it. Mark Greer is under a groove. Nothing can stop us now. Kia Big Mike Evans is here.
Every kiss begins with K.
And y'all know Kia like kisses.
I didn't know that was a part of a song.
It is now.
Good morning,
Princess Gigi deserves a jam. We still got to find it. It should be easy to find Gigi a jam. Jacqueline Rosie has a logo as well as a song. Jacqueline Rose logo goes like this. Well, according to Jacqueline, and her song goes,
Jacqueline Rosie, pretty little one that I adore. You're the only one my heart beats for. I'm so glad that you are mine. I'm going to ask you guys, help us find a jam for Princess Gigi King. If it was Gigi by itself, they snap. But Princess Gigi, because that's her real name, Princess Gigi, we want to put that in the jam. And we've had great success over the years from you guys submitting songs, submitting a song for Bill, submitting a song for Craig, all that kind of stuff. So help us find Princess Gigi's jam. Absolutely. Good morning, Kimberly. Thank you for coming, guys. Kimberly Rouse, she's going to get you a jam. You keep showing up here, my sister. You're going to get you a song. Absolutely. Jacqueline says, Worthy Women book is now ready for pre-order on
Wonderful.
Amazon. Order from me at justsayitpublishing@gmail.com for half price. And my first thank you cards are almost ready for purchase, ready for mass production.
Woo-hoo.
All right,
Craig Sapp says, good morning, everyone.
And have a great day and a weekend on purpose and enjoy it to the fullest. We love it. 1,000 degrees.
You'll be on your knees.
And you'll be burning, begging, please.
Brother, please.
Absolutely.
President G says, I love these songs. How awesome. What a great idea, Brian and Lisa. Thank you very much. I don't know how it started.
Yeah, I don't even know how it started
But it's been going on for a long time.
A long time.
Lisa, you just reminded me of something. It's 9:49. You just reminded me of something. It was relatively young in our relationship, but we were doing a lot of workshops together. Lisa had the Empowerment Center, and I was doing a workshop. Lisa had seen me do this workshop a few times already, where I was talking about selling ideologies, and I was talking about the hunters and the farmers and the relators and the visitors, and I was talking about which ones and how it works. And I had on a suit, I was doing my thing, and there was a room full of people there. And Lisa got up and she went somewhere behind me. Now I'm doing the workshop, Lisa's behind me, and I'm just doing my thing. And when I finally turned around, Lisa had went to the dry erase whiteboard and was illustrating and writing out everything as I was saying it. She wrote the word hunter, and she had drew little pictures, and she had all of this stuff up there for our workshop. And I was thinking, that was another moment. I was thinking, I got to keep her. I was like, wow. And then it made me think also, she heard enough, or she was smart enough to write out in such a way that the audience could get it as I was teaching it. And that really, really was wonderful for me. I mean, she had she had the words up there, and she even had them broken down. She just did it on her own, but it was wonderful the way she did it. And watching her do the gestures to the songs reminded me of that moment.
Oh, that's so sweet. I remember those times too.
Yeah,
I definitely remember them. I think I remember specifically hunter farmer visitor relator, and remembering it as all four components being necessary as an entrepreneurial.
Well, everybody's a part of all of them, but there is a dominant. There was dominant styles.
Absolutely, absolutely. But we're grateful that you hung out with us, Shirley. She says, have a great weekend. Jacqueline says, Brian and Lisa, is there a song for you two? We've never
had one. We've tried to look for one, but we've never gotten our own jams. I don't have one for me. I don't have one for Lisa, and we don't have one together. So we've asked people to help us to find a jam before.
Absolutely,
we just didn't.
Absolutely.
But we'll be right back.
We'll be right back.
Dr. Beverly says, y'all, Brian told us all of that, and all he had to say is that Lisa is the greatest. Brian P.A., thanks for sliding through, brother. We got about to bounce out of here.
We love you, and don't forget to have sex.